This presentation is based upon the vanilla bean crisis. Here is our table of contents. First, we will be discussing the history of vanilla beans. Second, the pure vanilla products. Third, the current crisis. And fourth, the solutions.
What are vanilla beans? The vanilla bean is the fruit of the vanilla orchid, a flowering plant with over 150 different species in its genus. The most commercially cultivated variety is the vanilla plenifolia, which produces the well-known Madagascar bourbon vanilla beans, prized for their rich, creamy flavor. Originally harvested in present-day Mexico by the Totonac people of the Veracruz region, where the plant was revered not only for its flavor, but for medicinal and ceremonial uses. In the 15th century, the Aztecs quickly adopted the plant as part of their own culture and mixed it with cocoa to enhance the flavor. In the early 1500s, Hernán Cortés and his Spanish conquistadors encountered vanilla and was fascinated with the Aztec use of it. After the Aztecs were defeated, vanilla was brought back to Spain and it quickly gained popularity among European royalty and aristocracy. Initially used exclusively with cacao, as the Aztecs had done, popularity grew to foods and cosmetics when chefs and perfumers began to experiment with vanilla, making it a luxury item. Vanilla gets its modern name from the Spanish term vainilla, which means little pod, which is derivative of the term vaina, meaning pod. This term perfectly describes the shape of the pods that contain the vanilla bean.
Hi, this is Emma Seeley, and we are going to be talking about the geographic market for vanilla beans. This is the top 3 countries that produce vanilla. First, we have Madagascar. In 2022, Madagascar produced 3,344 tons of vanilla. Worldwide, Madagascar produces around 65 to 80% of majority of the vanilla beans. Indonesia is the second highest producer of vanilla, which is annually around 2,300 tons. The third highest country of production for vanilla is Mexico, bringing in around 580 tons. The rest of the countries that produce vanilla, for example, in the picture on the slide, these following countries have a smaller production, and a lot of this is due because of the decline in 2017, which is mentioned further on in the presentation. Because of this decline, it overall affected the production in the market of vanilla, and this still has an impact and is occurring to this day. My name is Emma Seeley, and I will be presenting to you the Pure Vanilla products. For our first Pure Vanilla product, we have the purest of them all, vanilla beans. The components of vanilla beans is dried and cured vanilla seed pods. In production, these vanilla seed pods have nothing added to them. It is just pure vanilla seed pods. The flavor profile of vanilla beans contains thousands of vanilla bean specks. This is the most flavorful and potent of all the vanilla products, pure vanilla products. In baking and cooking, it is typically used in its whole form or the seeds. When this is used, sometimes it can be mostly for infusing liquids. When it is infused, when it is infused, the hot liquids will pull the vanilla flavor and create the strong vanilla profiles and aromas. For our second pure vanilla product, we have our pure vanilla extract. Pure vanilla extract is a concentrated, light, light flavorful liquid that is versatile when used in baking and cooking to add not only flavor but aroma. The components are soaking vanilla beans in a mixture of alcohol and water. Now, the alcohol and water ratio can vary, as well as the time that it takes for the vanilla beans to seep. And most of the time, this prefers on preference, because some people like their vanilla extract darker, some like it lighter, some like it less alcohol. It all depends. The flavor profile, it is rich and complex vanilla flavor. It is produced from the various compounds extracted from the vanilla beans. Now, pure vanilla extract compared to imitation vanilla or artificial vanilla extract, on the other hand, can contain artificial flavors and additives rather than being derived solely from vanilla beans. Our third pure vanilla product is vanilla bean paste. Vanilla bean paste is a thick has a molasses-like consistency, allowing it to add more flavors without thinning out batters or sauces it's added to. The components is a combination of pure vanilla extract with real vanilla bean seeds and a thickener, which is often some sort of gum, which can be like traganth or xanthan. The flavor profile is much like pure vanilla extract. It is rich and complex. However, because it is in a paste form, not a diluted liquid form, it is much stronger. The last pure vanilla product that we have is vanilla bean powder. Um, the components of vanilla bean powder is ground dried vanilla beans that are grounded into a fine powder. They are additive free, meaning it does not contain alcohol like some of the pure vanilla products have, such as the vanilla extract. So when recipes are made with vanilla bean powder, because it does not have alcohol, it can be baked at higher temperatures and it will keep its strong vanilla flavor and aroma. The flavor profile is more intense and more potent than a lot of vanilla products. This is because that, like vanilla beans themselves, they're usually used to infuse rather than the whole bean is not used, or the beans inside are used. It's vanilla beans are usually used for infusing. While if you use vanilla bean powder, it is grounded down vanilla beans, um, and them themselves are more potent.
There are so many wonderful ways to bring vanilla into your home kitchen, and I'm here to explain to you the different forms that vanilla takes. And I'm going to start with the most familiar. This is vanilla extract, and I should say this is our favorite pure extract. Everything on the table actually won a taste test within its category. Extract is made with vanilla beans soaked in water and alcohol. It's got an oaky flavor, and it's boozy because it's 35% alcohol in the final product. Next to it is imitation. Now, I'm going to give you permission to go save a lot of money if you want to buy imitation extract. When we've done taste tests here in the test kitchen, some of my colleagues, I'm not going to share their names, have actually chosen the baked goods made with imitation extract over the ones made with pure extract. And the reason for that is there's only one of the 500 flavor compounds that is in pures in imitation, but it's the most potent. It's the vanilla. And also, most brands don't have any alcohol, so there's no booze to interfere with the vanilla flavor. So if you want to choose imitation extract, go ahead and do that. It's a one-for-one replacement for pure extract in any recipe. Next up on the table, we have vanilla beans. Now, if you want specks in your dessert, this is the classic choice. If you're shopping for vanilla beans, the most important thing is to actually make sure they're pliable. They will dry out over time, and if they are hard and don't flex, that means they've lost a lot of their flavor. And since they're so expensive, they're the most expensive thing here on the table, that's really a shame. Now, if you want to use a vanilla bean in a recipe that calls for extract, you should assume that the seeds are going to be equivalent in one medium vanilla bean to about a tablespoon of extract. So let's move on to some of the things you may be less familiar with that you will see in a lot of professional kitchens. First up, we have vanilla paste, and I want to show you what this is. It's made with vanilla extract, ground vanilla beans, and it's got some sugars and some gums in it. And it really has a consistency of almost like maple syrup. It will give you those lovely seeds in the final dish, and it's shelf stable. So if you're worried about your vanilla beans drying up before you get to them, the vanilla paste is a great option because it's going to last in your pantry indefinitely. If you want to use vanilla paste in a recipe that calls for extract, it's a one-to-one substitute, so simple, easy to remember. Last on the table, we have two forms of what's called dry vanilla. Now, the first one is ground vanilla, and this is 100% vanilla beans that literally has been ground. The aroma, oh my heavens, this has the most potent aroma of anything on the table because, of course, it's 100% pure vanilla that's been ground. So if you want to use this in a recipe that calls for extract, it's actually use half as much. So a recipe calls for 2 teaspoons of extract, you'd only use 1 teaspoon of the ground vanilla. It's also pretty expensive since it's 100% vanilla. The last thing here on the table is vanilla powder. Now this is made with vanilla derivatives and sugars. It can be sprinkled directly on baked goods, so if you wanted to sprinkle some over cookies or a tart, you can do that. Both the vanilla powder and the ground vanilla can be added to spice rubs, and you can put them on meats before they go onto the barbecue. It also can be used one-for-one for extract. So there you have it. It's the wonderful world of vanilla with so many options.
What is the current crisis within farming? Vanilla might be the popular flavor, but producing it is difficult. And right now, the vanilla industry is facing some serious challenges. Here's what's going on. Vanilla is extremely labor intensive. Each flower must be hand pollinated within 12 hours of blooming, or it won't produce a pod. The beans then take about 9 months to grow and another several months to cure and dry. All of this is done by hand in often hot and humid climates. Climate change and natural disasters. Madagascar, the world's top producer, is frequently hit by cyclones, which is a storm, but way more powerful. These storms destroy vanilla crops and wipe out entire harvests. And since Madagascar dominates the market, Any disruption there causes a worldwide shortage. Price surge and theft. Because of the shortage, prices have skyrocketed in some years. Over 600 US for a kilogram, which is more than silver. With being so valuable, vanilla farms have been experiencing theft and violence, adding more stress to the farmers. Some farmers now pick the beans early to protect them, but that affects the flavor and quality. Quality and supply problems. With rising prices, some suppliers mix and dilute their products. Others sell beans that aren't fully cured or ripened properly. This means chefs and bakers are paying more but often getting lower quality vanilla. How is pricing being affected? Consumers are seeing higher prices for vanilla-flavored products, especially premium items like vanilla bean ice cream and artisan baked goods. Bakeries and restaurants have had to raise their prices, switch to artificial vanilla, or cut back on using vanilla altogether. The market has become unstable. Prices can jump drastically from year to year depending on weather and supply. What is being done to deal with the vanilla crisis? With the price of vanilla rising and supply shrinking, the food industry has started looking in different ways to manage the problem, like investing in sustainable vanilla farming, using alternatives to pure vanilla. Here is a chart to show you the alternatives to pure vanilla, the type, what it is, source, the taste, and the cost. Now to fun facts. Fun fact, over 95% of vanilla flavored products in stores are made with synthetic vanilla, not real vanilla beans. Most people can't even tell the difference in baked goods. Lab grown vanilla. Scientists are also working on lab grown vanilla using fermentation and bioengineering. This high-tech vanilla can match the flavor of the real thing, is cheaper, and doesn't rely on farming. But it is still being tested, but it might become the future of vanilla in the food industry. Final thoughts. While the world still loves vanilla, the crisis is pushing bakers and chefs to get creative. Whether it's supporting fair trade farming or using high-quality alternatives, everyone is trying to make sure the flavor we love stays on our shelves and in our cookies.